You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Even though I don't always agree with everything you say, you do challenge me to think, and I love that. I do. I love your candor, and I appreciate it greatly. So I don't mean to completely deviate from the emotional attachment of the segment, but I would like your opinion on the fundamentals of what this means with Corey leaving, because, man, I look at what Billy Napier's doing.
Yeah.
Billy Napier, Jabbar Jalouk, Corey Raymond, they're going to get kids out of Louisiana.
100%. And I think being at ULL and understanding, even from the level of athlete he was able to get to go play in Lafayette, he understands the depth of talent here in a different way than most. I think all the Alabamas, the Texas A&Ms, the Georgias, they understand the top level talent, but they don't necessarily know and have the connections or the relationships to get some of these dudes out of here who end up being, whether they're stars at LSU or Alabama, who end up being really good college players. And so I think that's part of it. I think the other piece of it is, it's not like Corey Raymond's never going into Florida and got a guy, or going into Mississippi and got a guy. And he's done those things as well. So they're going to recruit well here. I think they're going to recruit well throughout the South, and that's what Billy Napier wants to do. One thing I've heard about him that I think is a very unusual statement is that people love coaching for Billy Napier. Yeah. And so I think that's good. And they're going to. It's Florida. We are used to Florida being a good football team. Yeah. And I believe, they will be. I'm happy for Corey. I wish he was still here, but I understand the business of it. But Florida's doing a very good job of assembling a staff.
This isn't official from LSU, but the reports are that they're hiring Kerry Cooks.
Yes.
Do you remember Kerry? Because
he used to be at Oklahoma.
Do you remember him from your playing days? Because you all did overlap. He played at Iowa and then was a fifth-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 98, 99.
No,
so
I don't remember him.
And he played in the NFL for the Vikings, the Packers, and the Falcons, and maybe Jaguars, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Okay. I didn't know if you had any perspective there. Do you know?
Well, I think the one perspective I have is of things, at least since I played, of things I've had no desire to have. Like if you give me a list of things you have no desire to have, any Oklahoma or Notre Dame secondary would be tops of my list.
Okay. Oh, his I was doing some research on him. His OU secondaries when he was there actually performed pretty well.
He's from what I hear, one, I know he's a good recruiter.
Okay.
He's a good recruiter. From what I hear, he's actually a good coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have anything bad to say about him.
Okay.
I just know that, it'd be bombs over Baghdad sometimes in Oklahoma.
That was a lot. Look, when your experiences at Oklahoma, Texas Tech, there's a lot of people who are going to go, but he's got, with the secondary. But he has experiences at Notre Dame, at Wisconsin, Minnesota, other spots in the Big Ten.
Listen, this dude is a good coach. I have nothing bad to say about him. I honestly don't know him personally either, but I think he's someone who has been hired because of his experience, his ability to coach the position, and also recruit in what I would think are more difficult places to recruit DBs than LSU.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think what Scott and what Brian Kelly and what these guys are seeing or thinking is that LSU is its own brand. It's not necessarily. It's like you can't. Like Ron Cooper was a good coach and was able to recruit well here. And I think they're looking at it in that way, that it's about DBU more so than a person who's been attributed with contributing to the success of it.
Look, LSU is, I think you spoke to this, but LSU is bigger than one player or one coach and will continue to have success. The point you made, though, is good. I think there is a certain way to do stuff. And it sounds like there was no conversation ever had between Brian Kelly and some of these assistants. I know it was the fact with Mickey Joseph.
Yeah.
And or he was told he would be evaluated after the bowl game, and now it sounds like there wasn't a conversation with Corey Raymond. I can agree it's almost mind-boggling that you wouldn't see the value there. But but now Kerry Cooks is the new DB coach, and everyone's going to cheer for him. I hope he does exceptionally well. Change happens. It's an inevitable part. And if you're going to hire Brian Kelly and pay him $100 million, you got to let him build the program how he wants to build it, with the people he wants to build it, and let his results be the ultimate determining factor if he did that successfully or not. He did bring back Frank Wilson. So how much do you feel? And I mean, look, you do a ton of work at 7-on-7s. You're very familiar, probably more so than I am, certainly, with the high school landscape and all in Louisiana. How much does having Frank Wilson on staff impact? How big of a deal is that to you?
I mean, I think it's a huge impact. He not only has ties to LSU, but obviously the state, the city of New Orleans. He's a well-respected coach and a recruiter in the South for sure. And so I think, it almost seems that someone understood, or Brian Kelly understood himself. I don't want to slight Coach Kelly at all, that someone understood the value of having someone like Frank on the staff who has head coaching experience, right? Who understands delegating as well, but also the landscape of recruiting, the landscape of the culture. It's almost like having another head coach on the team, but that gives you kind of the cultural understanding that you can't have if you're Brian Kelly. And you also can't learn it or be taught it. And I think that was an awesome hire. I believe everyone was extremely excited about it. And, when you're not going to have a Mickey, Archbishop Shaw, when you're not going to have a Corey Raymond, New Iberia, when you're not going to have a Kevin Faulk, Karen Crow, you better have one of them.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Every school doesn't have people from like where the school is. Like it ain't always like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we had a unique kind of situation. It's not all the time that it's like, oh, like these dudes are all from Louisiana. They coach here. It's not like, like Notre Dame don't have like 7 coaches from South Bend.
South Bend's a small place, but I don't know if there are 7 coaches in South Bend.
But you know what I'm saying? And so I don't want people to listen to me and think that I'm saying that if you're coaching a team, you got to have people who been to the school. Like I'm not saying that at all. I think some understanding of the area is important. And I just believe we had such a unique situation that I think unique measures of handling the direction you wanted to go in your hiring were called for. And on the other side of it, it's not an obligation, And so now you have someone like Frank to help guide you through recruiting. You have someone like Frank to help guide you into the first spring. And then once your staff is complete, once you have some of your recruits, now you can look at the transfer portal, see what guys are open there, because, you'll likely have a smaller class than what you would have if you had the consistency of the coaching staff.
One other question that I didn't see answered earlier today on Twitter. No, Kevin Faulk won't be back as the running backs coach. There was some question as to whether or not he would remain on staff in some other role, like an off-field role. Do you have
I know he was not offered any job in the football department.
Okay. So is that ambiguous to say that he might be somewhere in the athletic department, or you just don't know what's next?
Well, in speaking to him, that he's like, this is what, he said, this is what he does. And this is what he's always done. This is what he's been a pro at doing. And working in another department wouldn't suit his skill set.
Got it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.